Good morning and happy new moon in Pisces. So this is a follow-on video from the one I posted yesterday about the full moon, and this one I will be talking about the astrological houses and how they can affect you. So basically every month when we have a new moon or a full moon, they affect or trigger a part of your chart that astrologers call a house. Now there are 12 houses and each relates to a specific area of life. For example, there's the 7th house, which is your love zone, the 10th house, which is your career zone, the 12th house, like that is the deepest and darkest part of your chart. So what I will do is I'm going to run through the star signs and how they will affect this full moon in Pisces, which is like, in some countries it kind of fell yesterday, but in the UK it falls today, the 21st. And basically it will kind of highlight to you a particular area in your life at the minute where you're going to find like maybe some difficulties or areas that are kind of brought to your attention. But I always find when we know these things and we have like more of an awareness of them, it's easier for us to channel our energy and to kind of like guide ourselves through this time ahead. And it is really powerful when you can kind of understand some of the moon cycles and how they can guide and help you through the month and through the different dates that we go through. So the first star sign that's coming up for me to look at with you guys is the Aries, which is in the 12th house. So for all you Aries, if you're listening, this month it falls in your 12th house, which is the deepest, darkest part of the chart. It's the most sensitive part. So it's kind of intertwines about your fears, spirituality, self-undoing, withdrawal. Yeah, it's kind of a dark element. Not to say that in a bad way, but when we say dark or deep, it just means like there's a lot to it. Like it's kind of heavy. Do you know what I mean? Like there could be a lot that you're being called to work through, especially with fears, but then tying that in with the new moon, have a look at ways that you can release some of those fears, you know, surrendering them to the divine, writing them out on a list, ripping it up or burning it, or you might even want to keep that list then. I do that sometimes to look back and you can see your progress. And even sometimes just putting pen to paper or speaking it out loud. You don't have to tell anyone else. You can literally sit under the moon and, you know, in your house or in your room or even outside and just, you know, you can speak it out loud and some of your fears and worries and say you want to release them and let them go. And sometimes that can be so powerful that even just letting that out of your chest, out of your energy zone, releasing some of that tension and fear, that you can feel lighter within yourself and more empowered. Now, again, a bit of a summary of this, you might have felt really busy recently and no one can blame you for wanting to take some time out. But the full moon in your 12th house is going to allow you to do just that. For many people, it comes at a time when they're feeling a bit down. However, you're probably just so exhausted from the demands of daily life. So it is really essential that you do take time out for yourself. Don't feel bad, don't feel selfish for doing that, but you are going to need to recharge yourself a bit. If you know how to do things like a meditation or even yoga, something mindful, some artwork, some writing, like meditation, don't think it has to be something difficult either. As I mentioned in another video, it can literally, you sit there and you just focus on your breathing in, breathing out. Even if you just do it for 5 minutes, it literally calms your body, calms your nerves, and also silences your mind. And the more you do it, the stronger that silencing that inner critic and mind will get. But you definitely have to strike a balance between working and time out. So that is your area that's going to be most for you guys to focus on. Then the next sign we've got is Taurus. Taurus is actually coming under the 11th house, and that is predominantly about friends, network, social circles, hopes and wishes. So it can be quite a good time to socialize, but it can also be a time to reassess maybe friendships, networks, your wishes? What did you do from the last new moon, if you did anything? Where are you kind of wanting to go in life? Like, how are the people around you serving you for your highest good? If not, maybe you need to look at releasing them or letting them, some of those friendships or relationships go. Now, it is really tempting for everyone to focus on our own pleasures. Life is for living and having fun, of course, after all. However, this month's full moon in your 11th house is reminding you that you do need to find a balance between indulging yourself and remembering that the people in your life also need some attention from you. So have you been neglecting a partner? Have you maybe not been spending so much time with your children or your family or even some of your friends? So it is kind of a bit of a push for you to reevaluate that and maybe look at spending more time with those that mean the most to you. Whatever you do now, though, for someone else, you'll basically get extra karmic points. So I always say this anyway, and I live by it. Whatever you do or put out there, make sure you're doing it for your highest good and the highest good of others, because what you put out, you get back, whether it be immediately or in another life. Like, you know, you want to keep your intentions coming from a good place. And it also makes this coming month really good for networking. So that's something else for you guys to consider. Then we have Gemini, which is coming under the 10th house. So they're actually quite focused this month. You'll notice a focus around your career, ambitions, how you're making your mark on the world, your reputation. So career-wise, you're really going to feel a push or a focus on this area. And whether that be you're happy in your career or you're not so happy in it, this is the time to focus. If you're not happy in it, if it's not fulfilling you, you feel like your time is up there, now is that time to focus on moving away from that, letting that go. Push yourself to find something new, push yourself in a different direction. Have that faith in yourself that you can go out and look for something new. Don't ever feel like you're not good enough, you're too underqualified, you're not this, you're not that. You can achieve or get anywhere you want to be. It's mindset. So keep those visions and beliefs, because you can do it. Now, if you have been hiding yourself away and generally keeping a low profile, do watch out, okay? The skies are suggesting loudly that it's time for you to step out of the shadows and back into the limelight. And that does come under like self-confidence and self-esteem, because a lot of the time, a lot of us, we can have issues around that area. But work on, you know, your self-confidence and self-esteem, because you need to be putting yourself out there more, especially in this work area that I'm seeing. Now, as tempting as it could be for you to just slouch around at home, this full moon in your 10th house of career is telling you it's time to invest in some emotional energy in your professional life. So you have got to give it that, like, a little bit of a kick, a little bit of energy, because that's where you're being called to work. It's going to be most beneficial for you to focus your energy on the career side of things. If a work situation is coming to an end, like I did say, touched on a little bit before, something new will come in its place soon enough. You just have to believe that and visualize where you want to be and what you want to be doing, and have faith that that will come through. The next sign that we're looking at is Cancer. So for all you Cancers, yours is coming in the 9th house. So that's around things, you know, study, travel, internet, higher learning, religion, spirituality, dreams. I quite like the sound of the 9th house, actually. So yes, it's a lot for you guys to focus. It's more like your personal growth at the minute. There's a lot of subjects looming large for you now as the full moon takes place in your 9th house. Be honest with yourself. Have you been fussing too much over the details of your latest problem or tasks? If you have, then step back and look at the big picture of where you are and where you want to be. So really have to focus on using like your visualization. And sometimes, again, you can focus more on that through meditation and strengthening your visualization, like your clairvoyance, like in your third eye, what you see. The more you focus on visualizing things in your mind's eye, or some people call it mind's eye, like the stronger you build that muscle, and therefore if you're visualizing something or a dream or something you want to make happen, you got a stronger muscle to work with, so you're going to get a stronger result. So it is a great time as well for you to learn or try something that's beyond your usual everyday. So as well, if you've been like pushed in a direction and you're feeling like maybe to study something new or learn about something new, then this is a perfect time for you to start that. Now we have Leo, wonderful Leos. Yours is coming up in the 8th house, so for all you Leos, and that is about joint finances, credit cards, debts. Sorry, I said that wrong. Yeah, like debt as in financial debt, sex, anything that could be considered a bit taboo, maybe inheritance or transformation. So that's what your 8th house is about. So I know, like, especially financially, a lot of people do worry and have, you know, a lot of kind of worries around finances and stuff, but this is a time to maybe get a bit of a plan in action, reassess your finances. Where can you make changes? Sometimes, you know, I always say this to people, sometimes we do have to go through times of maybe where we haven't got everything we want, or we do have to cut back, or we do have to make changes, but sometimes like a short-term change can be then more beneficial in the long run. We can't always have everything at once. Like if you know you've got debts, there's no point then trying to live a lifestyle that's consuming you and you're having to live up to when you've still got debt. Sometimes we need a little bit of a reality check, and to focus on what's really important. And when you start to nourish yourself, you know, internally from the inside out, you're going to find that a lot of these things that we focus so much, like, you know, people want things for their ego or to look good or to say they've got this or say they've been there or done that. A lot of those things come from the ego. So they're not really fulfilling your soul. They're not nourishing your soul. So if you can look at ways that you could maybe cut back on certain things, or, you know, even put a little bit of money aside every month to save, that's always a really good idea to be doing. But yeah, this full moon is all about finding a balance between give and take. So if you know you've been doing too much of either, it's time to redress the balance. When you give too much but don't know how to take, how can the universe send you an abundant stream of good things if you're not receiving them without a fight? Food for thought. And now is a good time to attend to practical financial matters like paying off debts. Oh, I don't know why that word is not liking coming out of my mouth this morning. It's also very good for investing some emotion into the boudoir, as it says, but, you know, interpret that how you will. Maybe that's the love of your life. Maybe you need to focus more on that. If you're single, you know, reconnect with yourself a bit. When they say like words like the boudoir, like to me, that is bedroom. So if you're single, actually, even if you're like with someone, you're in a couple, you're married, you have a partner, look at, you know what I'm big on? Energy everywhere. I'm really big on that. So if you look at the bedroom, for instance, actually, I did want to talk about this. So look at the energy flow in your bedroom. I'm going to give you now a few hints and tips. Sorry, Leos, you're getting a little bit more attention on this video, but I feel like it's needed. So even if you just change the energy around a little bit in your room, you're going to find how, whether you have a partnership, you're going to find an energy change straight away. And probably a bit of an energy change even like on an intimate level for you both, because the energy is going to have been changed around. So that's in a positive way. And like I say, if you're single, it's still going to benefit your energy field and how you feel. So straight away in your bedroom, I will say have a declutter. You could even go so far as maybe redecorating, changing the color scheme, like just doing something new with the room. I'm very into like the balance of things. So be careful the way even you have your bed facing. They always say you never want to have your bed facing directly to your bedroom door. They call it I think it's like the coffin pose, like your legs will be in line with the door. That's not a good one. But also where your front door is in the house, you don't want the bed facing directly to where the front door is. So even if your bed's facing the bedroom door, just move it over slightly so the end of the bed isn't in line with the way the door walks in. That's a good tip. You'll find the balance. You'll find you sleep much better. Symmetry. So like if you've got a bedside table on one side, make sure you've got one on another. It balances the energy out. Mirrors, weirdly enough, don't have too many mirrors in a bedroom. And especially, I don't advise, again, these are just my personal things that I found have helped the energy flow in a bedroom. Of course, everybody to their own, what works for you. I always say that to people as well, follow your intuition and what works for you. Don't just rely on someone else to, you know, to follow what they say. But I find this, don't have a mirror at the end of your bed facing you when you sleep, okay? Because it's not great for the energy, I find anyway. And also on a deeper spiritual level, you're having a mirror face you as you sleep. You can sometimes create a little bit of a passageway or a walkway for spirit then. I have mine to the side of my bed, and it's like to the side. It's not in a line with my face, but it's to the side of my left side, which is the side I don't sleep on anyway. And then I have one other small mirror that faces out towards the door, but the energy flow of them is nice. If you're going to put a picture, you can have one. Sometimes they say above the bed. Some people don't like anything above the head. So if you've not been sleeping great and you've got something above your head, maybe look at moving that. My other little bit of advice that I'm going to give you as well is every morning when you open up, 9 minutes keep the windows open for, and let the air in, and just that fresh air from outside will cleanse that energy of the room. Then you can just leave it like a tiny little bit open. And yeah, if you've got things like loads of books, or magazines, or like declutter those, but also books in a bedroom, like 1 or 2 on a bedside table, you know, that you might read before bed is fine. But if you've got a lot, like books, magazines, anything with like reading material that stimulates the mind, put that into the lounge, because what you find is that because that is like increases activity, even if you're not using them, but they're in your bedroom space before you're trying to sleep, that's going to stimulate the mind subconsciously, but it stimulates it, so it can make it harder for you to fall asleep. Then my other number one rule is, it's not a rule, but to me it's an essential: no electronics. Okay, so that means, especially if you have a partner anyway, because if you're both on your phone before bed, what the hell? Like, no, like your time together should be intimate, it should be special, it should be cherished. Like, that is quality time that you get to lay together. That is not to be interfered with spyware technology, radiation burning out between you both, like the interference from an artificial intelligence web of the world. I'm not a big fan on technology, so that is a big no. Phones out of the bedroom, turn them off, airplane mode. If you're really worried, like just keep an old, you know, the old basic brick phones or a landline nearby if you're worried about someone getting in touch with you. But even keeping it in a separate room, do you know what I mean? Like, it's for your safety too, because people don't realize when they have constant phones around them all the time, that's just radiation, like, that's not good for you, surrounding you. And then when you're trying to sleep in your precious area, and then you've got like this electronic web still around you, it's not good for you. And that goes the same for like devices, so iPads, laptops, not in the bedroom, not when you're sleeping. So take any electrical device out, and I promise you your sleep quality will improve and you'll be sleeping better. Even your dreams, if you dream, they're going to be better or more detailed. Like, don't have the artificial intelligence in when you're sleeping. I won't go too deep on the video, because I know I've been going on a long time about this for the Leos, but this is also information for anyone. That is another big thing not to have in the room. So there's just a few little pointers to bear in mind. Now, next one, Virgos, you're coming under the 7th house. So, oh, weird, we were just talking a bit about like your lovers, your spouse, your ex, enemies potentially, any sort of partner, including business partners, corporation and competition. So this full moon suggests that it's time for you to step aside a little and invest some emotional energy in other people, your significant other, business partner, or even an adversary. At the very least, there needs to be balance. So yeah, if you do find like, yeah, you've been neglecting a certain person in your life, like we say, it could be business, could be personal, maybe reevaluate that. Often I see it a lot when people are in a couple or a relationship, that sometimes they it can work two ways, but one of the ways you see it a lot is where they don't have much else going on outside of that, and they're literally just them pair all the time. And unless you have a really good balance of that anyway, then it can start causing a little bit of disruption sometimes, you know what I mean? Because then they're very reliant on each other, and then they can neglect, you know, like say their friends or their family or business. But you have to have a good balance. Or likewise, it could be the opposite. They give all to their business and their work, and then they forget about their partner, you know? So it's all about striking that good, healthy balance. So yeah, this particular one with the 7th house, it is bringing attention for you to focus on basically someone that needs your attention elsewhere, where you maybe haven't been giving that. The full moon can also bring closures. So if you're in a friendship or relationship that's ending, you can proceed in the knowledge that you're finishing things up in the right time, celestically speaking. So yeah, again, if you feel like things have come to a close, like now is that time, you've got that prompt from the universe that yes, that is time, and let that go basically, and work from moving on from that, because again, it will be for your highest good. If you know deep in your heart of hearts, if something isn't feeling right anymore, then that's your sign. Yes. Now, my favorite one, all the Libras out there, I love you. Only because I'm a Libra and I'm being a bit biased. But yes, us Libras. So we are the 6th house this month. And that is all about daily routines, including work, your health, duties. And I've actually been feeling that a lot. I've been really feeling being made aware and conscious of my health, like physically, mentally, even like what I'm consuming. I've really noticed that's been playing on my mind a lot. So I know, as it says, that's the part of my chart this month that is really being triggered. Now, if you're one of the lucky ones, this is the full moon when you see yourself for who you really are, your good points and your flaws, and you decide to do something about your flaws. Well, yeah, that's what I've been saying, is like, I'm definitely feeling where I need to focus or where I need to make changes in order for me to move forward. So this is all about the daily life you lead. Are you living healthily, exercising, getting enough sleep? If not, then this full moon is your annual chance to start taking care of yourself, body, mind, and spirit. I'm also adding soul into that too, because that needs nourishment, especially as a lot of people aren't even in touch with their soul and what that needs to. There's many ways we have to nourish ourselves. Like I say, it isn't just a case of, oh yeah, you got to eat good, or yeah, you got to do some exercise, or, you know, like you have to have that balance. It has to be all areas that you're nourishing, because if you're not, you're always going to find then, yes, oh, I've done all this with my diet, I'm exercising, but then they don't feel nourished anywhere else in their lives. And that's where it ties into like you know, mind, spirit, soul as well. That's another side to look at nourishing. So for all my Libras, Scorpio, you are in the 5th house, and that's all about romance, creativity, kids. If you have them, your own. If not, someone else's. Pursuit of pleasures, or potentially love affairs. That's the kind of area it triggers for you this month. So the full moon, it takes place in your house of self-expression. So there's a whole lot of emotion going on now. For some of you, it's all about pouring your heart out. So you may be feeling overly emotional. For others, it's about the joy a child brings, or pouring emotion into a creative project. Yeah, sometimes I think as well, using a bit of your inner child, as we say, when we start being creative, that can be really powerful as well for us. And between all this, you do need to find a balance between yourself and your friends. Don't neglect them totally. This is your challenge for the coming months. So again, it is I do find now as well, we're having that seasonal change. You know, we're going into that autumn winter stage now. So for a lot of people, that is about, like, you know, we retreat inwards, and also that can be on a literal level too. You know, people might not want to go out as much. Oh, it's cold, and, you know, we can get comfortable just in our own surroundings, but that does come as a reminder, especially for you Scorpios, that make time for your friends too. Don't and have time to socialize as well. Strike a bit of a balance and don't go too inwards that you then neglect them. Okay, Sagittarius, you are in the 4th house. That's your home, family, all things domestic, where you belong, and your past. So if you have really been working yourself out now to achieve your personal goals, it might seem like a good thing, but there is a time and a place for everything. Right now, you guys are entering a cycle when you need to find a balance between your outer aims and your inner aims. You know, a bit of the yin and the yang there. You got to find that balance, and take care of yourself on the inside too. I always say that to people. That's really important. Take a look at your family relationships and ascertain whether everything is running smoothly as you'd like it to. If it's not, then this is the time to pour some energy into that part of your life. And sometimes it's just having that power to step aside and take a minute or two to even just evaluate where your energy needs to go, because even just having the knowledge and insight to be able to see, right, I need more time here, I need more of a balance there. Once you acknowledge it, that's the biggest step, and then you can move forward with that. Right, Capricorns, you are the 3rd house. So it's all about communications, siblings, neighbours, quick trips, early learning, and education. So, they do say with the Capricorn energy in this one that, you know, if you've really been dreaming about, you know, some escape or moving, you know, somewhere else or to the other side of the world, or even just in the countryside, you know, you want to get away and that is your dream or your goal. But then this is your kind of wake up call and reminder, but what about the details? Yes. So it's all very well. And a lot of people, like, yeah, they'll teach you these things like manifesting, get what you want. But sometimes then you also have to think about the practical steps that you're going to get there. I'll use me in it as in a funny little example here. So I go on, like, every moon cycle, I'm here, like, yeah, my intentions for my future lover, my future partner, like everything I want, all these things that I know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm proper putting it out there. I know what I want, but hey, am I expecting the universe to just drop it through the roof? Like, you know, sometimes we have to remember the details. Like, they can only do so much to align up the energy. But if I don't leave my house or I don't go out and socialize, how do I think this miraculous future man is going to find me? Vice versa. How's it going to happen? So sometimes that is where, like, you have to, we can want something so bad, like you could want that dream house in the country, but how are you gonna, practical steps as well, because I do believe in miracles, but sometimes we have to have the element of the practical side too. So, you know, that is a reminder, just focus on some of the details, or maybe a little bit of a plan, but be open to, you know, change and the universe helping and guiding you. But this full moon is definitely reminding you that things need to be taken care of, close to home too. It's also a reminder to express yourself. So if you've been holding back on things, you haven't really been speaking your truth, or in fear of what others might say, think, or judge, you know, express yourself. As long as it's not directly, purposely going out your way to hurt someone else, no, express yourself. You will feel better for that and more empowered. If you haven't been honest about how you feel, now is the time to start to say your piece. Also, if you've potentially had any dramas with siblings, this could be a time that they would be sorted now as well. Okay, now the second one, Aquarius, you're up next, and yours is actually the 2nd house. So this one's all about cash, property, possessions, and values, including how you're going to value yourself. Okay, so with that said, there may be a focus on like cash flow coming in, property, you might be moving or thinking about moving, or maybe there's some work that might need to be done on your own property. you've got to get a balance again between what you do for yourself financially and what you do for others. So consider your income and your debts, your self-worth, and what others pay you. So again, I find this a lot with people, especially like in business and stuff. But you have to value yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to charge a certain amount, charge that. Don't just think, oh, well, they won't pay, or, oh, that's because you're not having enough self-esteem or value for yourself. The right people will always find you, and there will always be people that will pay and people that won't. You just have to focus on attracting those that value what you do, and that will pay, because you'll find the right people. So focusing, yes, on what the others pay you, which is usually based on what you ask for. If you're about to make a major purchase, you're doing it at the right time. And if you've been letting someone control you because they've got financial power over you, this is your chance to break free. I feel like that one is quite strong to focus on. That yes, it is good to have your independence. And if something isn't healthy or it's toxic, or you're staying around or in a situation just for money alone, that's not good for you. It's not good for your mind. It's not good for your body or your soul. It will come at some kind of loss. So where you can, break free from that. Okay. And our last star sign, last but not least, the Pisces. This is a special one for you guys because obviously it is the full moon in Pisces. So this is like extra energy that's focused on the Piscean energy now, okay? So you guys, generally, like when it falls in your sign, you can feel the moon more. So you might find like more emotional, or the things that like your first house are focusing on, it may come up stronger for you, and you're going to feel it more because it's the alignment that it's in. Now, your first house is your appearance, image, self-identity, and how you come across to others. So a bit of a difficult one in a sense, because, you know, it's all very well being when, you know, you can be focused on someone else. But once a year, the full moon reminds you that you also need to focus on yourself. And that time is now. Many of us are givers rather than takers. And this can mess with the flow of our lives. So this month, remember to say yes when people offer help. That's a big thing. I notice a lot of people, they almost feel bad or they don't want to ask for help. But sometimes we deplete ourselves so much in energy and we're always giving to others that sometimes we need to take back. And if someone is offering you help, you can take that. You don't have to feel bad. It's going to help you and make your journey easier. You could also feel really emotional during this cycle, but a lot of the stuff that's coming up needs to be dealt with. So if you've really been pushing a lot of things aside or not dealing with things maybe from your past, your present, like anything I say that comes up around this time or where you feel most emotional is where you have to really focus your energy on. And it's very easy to just suppress and procrastinate and think, yeah, oh, I'm just going to continue watching the TV, or, oh, I'm going to go have a drink and forget about this. And it's really easy to push these things down. But learning from the past too, the more we push down and don't deal or acknowledge with problems or things that come up or need to be dealt with, the worse it's going to get, and then the more painful it gets. And then it will get to a point, you know, where people do, not saying all, but sometimes, yeah, people can go a bit off the rails, or they can have then emotional breakdowns, or feel like everything in their life is then falling apart, because it's so hard sometimes to get that courage within to realize that we do need to address something, or something needs to change. So that's just a reassuring message though for you Pisces, that don't worry, like even if it is difficult, the stuff that's coming up that needs to be dealt with, know that you have that inner courage, passion and tenacity to be able to deal with that head on. And you can, and there is plenty of ways you can help and look and get support to deal with things. And this is for anyone too. But, you know, we all have the internet, we have access to books, because, you know, not everyone can afford like a therapist or a counselor, you know, try where you can. There's a lot of free resources, and that's why even sometimes I find just doing little videos like this or sharing some content online that may be helpful to others, because we never know. I always say this, look, even if it's just one person that listens and takes something from it, or it helps them, even if it's just a little, oh, that's what was coming up for me this month. Oh, that makes a bit more sense now. They might just feel a tiny bit more empowered then going forward into the month, that they have a little bit more emotional control or physical control of something. They're then aware of it in their energy field. So even just a little slight change like that can help someone. And that can make such a difference between someone feeling like, oh my God, this energy is so much I can't cope, to actually I feel more empowered now because I'm understanding it a bit more. Or, oh, it's giving me an idea of something I can meditate on. Or, you know, like I always say, we all want a better world. We have to focus on being better people. So whatever we can do to, you know, enhance ourselves, be the best version of ourselves, then we should be looking to do that. So I hope these messages have resonated and helped you guys. And I hope you have a blessed day. Take care, everyone. Bye.